Before we dive into today's episode, we want to remind you that the views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the host and guests and for educational and entertaining purposes. The Professional Homegirl Podcast is here to celebrate the diverse voices, stories, and experiences of women of color, providing a platform for authentic and empowering conversations. There will be some kikiing, some tears, but most importantly, a reminder that tough times don't last, but professional homegirls do. Enjoy the show. A dominatrix typically takes on a dominant role in a power exchange dynamic with their submissive partner who is willing to submit to the dominatrix control and authority. During this week's episode, my guest will be sharing her insights, stories, and expertise as a professional dominatrix. In addition, we would discuss the role of communication, consent, and negotiation in BDSM and how these practices help to ensure a safe but fulfilling experience for everyone involved. So to my guest, thank you so much for coming on the show. How you doing? How you feeling?
Thanks for having me. It's a blessing to be here.
Yes, blessing. Come on now. Well, before we start with your story, I want to get your opinions on a few things.
Okay.
What are some common misconceptions or stigmas surrounding kinks in the Black community?
Ooh, I was not expecting to be asked that question. What I would say is one of the most common things, especially within our community, especially with BDSM being so taboo, I would have to say is that people would assume that men in this lifestyle or people in this lifestyle are number one, weird. Number two, they would automatically assume that if a man is submissive to a woman, that makes him homosexual. That is
or weak.
a big, yes, or weak,
right?
Or beta male, or he's a simp, blah, blah, blah. First of all, a simp is somebody who goes after someone and does not get what they want out of that person.
Right.
This is a consent. This is a total power exchange and a mutually consensual benefit for both parties. They're walking away with something. But I mean, I understand, especially with the topic of sex and number one and number two, BDSM being so taboo, because I mean, you think about it. If you think about like men in a barbershop, they're talking about bitches, excuse my French.
Oh no, we get it all. Bitches and hoes and shit.
Okay.
Right.
They're talking about bitches, hoes. They're talking about, popping bottles in the club, what sneakers they got to wear, sports and everything. They're not talking about, hey, I just got bent over by this woman who I'm never going to see again. And I gave her like a piece of my salary for it. Like they're not discussing that amongst each other. So,
but do you think we're going to ever get to that point where niggas going to be speaking about that shit freely?
You know what? I think eventually we will. It's already starting. I mean, sex, and especially within, sex work, one of the oldest occupations. But for some reason, it's just super taboo and like people do not want to discuss it. And sex work is a big umbrella, first of all. It does not require conventional intercourse as like other people will want to go ahead and think about it that way. And a lot of people are they're like, okay, well, do you have sex with your clients? And I'm like, no. I'm doing the bending. I don't bend over, respectfully.
I'm breaking the back, nigga.
There are a lot of men who have been, I want to say, pretty open about their experiences, either with a dom or with themselves, or you know what, my kink level is evolving. I thought I was into this until I was introduced to something that I thought was weird, and now I actually like it and enjoy it. And now I can tell people. Can't tell too many people, but it's beginning to be normalized. And I run a house on Clubhouse that's called Fetish, and it stands for Furthering Education to Incorporate Sexual Health.
Come on, acronym.
We have a healthy conversation regarding sex positivity, all things kink and fetish related. And it's just literally a chill out spot for mature adults to talk about sex and kinks and fetishes and BDSM within a healthy space.
Right.
Trolling allowed or anything like that. And I think having spaces like this and amongst other ones and different podcasts like Horrible Decisions and like
which is our sister podcast.
I love them to pieces.
Shout out
And
to
they're
them.
coming to Atlanta eventually. But I
Mhm.
think with more groups, with more podcasts, with more people speaking open about these topics that are taboo, it'll make people think like, okay, I'm not weird for liking what I like. It's just my preference. It's my
Right.
choice. Nobody has to yuck my yum. So I think with these types of groups and just people just talking about it more, it'll answer some questions that people are afraid to ask.
Listen, that's how I know you work with white people. Because only white people say, don't yuck somebody else's yum, baby.
Listen.
Now, do you think that the media does a good job of representation and showcases the diversity of sexual preferences and kinks within our community?
Wow, these questions are good. Okay.
Come on, now, I gotta get my Oprah on. We're gonna get to Carisha later on.
Okay, cool, cool, cool. The media does not do, I mean, I want to say that it's evolving, but it's kind of sort of not. Like, honestly, when you turn on the TV nowadays, you will see some insane shit and be like, what the hell? Like, this is really
Right,
on air? But I post a picture of my feet, and this is my third Instagram. It has gotten flagged and gotten deleted. So it's certain things that it's just like, okay, we can push the line in doing this, but oh, that feet fetishes,
right,
ass worship, oh, that's a problem. So I know when I first thought about being in this lifestyle, I was naturally, I don't want to say naturally, I can kind of say I was naturally submissive as a
hmm.
child because
As
I
a
was brought that
child.
way. I was brought that way. I was taught that way. I was the only child. I did
Hmm.
not have any brothers or sisters. I have family that are adopted that
Hmm.
I've grown with, and I have cousins and everything. But when I would watch shows, I was into, regular kid shit, regular girly shit. And then when I
Right,
watched the Players Club and I saw the scene where Ronnie is spanking the cop on the ass, and I'm like, oh, this look kind of
right, right.
fun. And I'm looking like, well, but the police is supposed to protect us. Like, they're not supposed to be getting bent
Nah,
over
Ronnie was
and beaten
protecting us,
everywhere.
child.
And, oh my gosh. And I was just like, wow. But I mean, if you look in media today and when you hear of a dominatrix or when you see one, like you see me right now, like I have like my hair in a bun, I got a t-shirt on. When it's time to put on the latex, I'm
Mhm.
there to put on. When I look on TV and I see other women who are doing the same things that I'm doing, I don't see enough of us.
Right.
I don't see a lot of us at all.
Well, I don't see y'all at all. I see white women.
Yeah, and when you Google
Hmm.
dominatrix, you will see nothing but white women.
Hmm.
And it took me really, I mean, I'll go into the whole story eventually about how I became and a dom and everything, like a little
Right.
bit later when you ask and everything, but it's not a lot of us being represented a lot. Like it's a little discouraging. However, I do know that the general public probably would not be looking probably wanting to hear some sex worker story, which is unfortunate to say due to it being stigmatized. But it's just I feel like if people knew that we were multifaceted and that we
Absolutely.
had actual vanilla jobs, like I have a vanilla job outside of here. I work in tech. I wasn't
Right.
able to go ahead and work into tech without being a sex worker because that's how I paid for school.
Right.
So a lot of people are like, wow, like, people don't have this Madonna whore complex where they put women into two categories. Like
Hmm.
women are not a monolith. We can do a lot of things. And I know I kind of got off on a tangent on your
No, no,
question,
you're good.
but it's not a lot of us.
I think you make a
But
good point as well because I feel like only Black sex workers, and I can be wrong, but I have a lot of friends that are sex workers, and I feel like their pages are constantly being deleted nonstop.
my TikTok was deleted too. And mind you,
Yeah.
when I searched those same hashtags that I was using under my pictures and videos that had no nudity,
Right.
their palm colored people, no offense to y'all, but y'all shit was still up there. My shit
Right.
got clipped. I said, oh my God, wow. So yeah, I really feel like when it comes to us, the media frowns upon it due to our color of our skin. And that's because our pages are constantly being taped.
Right. Right. Now, how were you introduced to the lifestyle of BDSM?
So back in 2012, I
Hmm.
was dating a preacher's kid, and I did not know that he was into the lifestyle at all. I
You know,
started
them preacher kids,
noticing,
baby.
yeah. And I mean, when you look at us like night and day,
Mm.
I was 23, well, 22 going on 23 at the time. And I was just my regular 22-year-old self, going out here drinking and everything like that, having fun, blah, 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 in college and working, blah, blah, blah. I got my own money. What we doing on a Friday night? And he was just so, just very soft and very coy. And I'll do anything for you. And you were so sweet and special. Had flowers every other day. He was the type of
Oh,
person where he took off his jacket and put it over a puddle and you would walk over it, like on some movie shit.
right.
So I was just like,
Your
I
ass
don't,
didn't want that.
I,
Yo, you cannot make bitches happy, yo.
like, excuse my French, but are and I'm
Right, right,
angry at the time. I'm like, I wasn't used to men being so catering towards me.
right,
And he was just like, well, I do think that you're wonderful to be around. He was just like, you're definitely the opposite from, people that I've dated. However, when it comes to women, I put women on a pedestal. And I'm like, okay, you just saying that because you got three sisters. He's like, no, 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 it goes beyond that. Like I am into FLR. And I'm like, what the hell is that? Like,
right.
you okay? He said, no, that stands for female-led relationships, which is a
Mm,
dynamic within the BDSM community. So he lets me make decisions. I am the authoritative figure. I am the person that he looks up to for anything. He wants me to pick out his clothes. He wants me to tell him how to dress. Any sort of executive decisions come through me. If I say that we are hungry or I am hungry, we are hungry. If I have to go to
right.
the bathroom, we go to the bathroom. If I want to put on a pair of high heels, you're helping me put them on, like different things down to the T. And he was high protocol with it. So I was just like, I'm not sure how to feel about that because I'm so used to men, taking the lead and he
Right.
wants me to do this. So he was just like, I got you covered. So he introduced me to his ex-girlfriend, which I kind of thought was awkward, but he told me that his ex-girlfriend was a dom.
Mm,
And she was black. And I had never
mm.
seen a black dom like prior to that. I'm like, you be beating niggas? And she's just like, it's more than just beating it. Like, so I paid her for her time and she had me read some books. I also got into cam work from her.
Mm.
So I started doing webcam at night, making money in order to pay to shadow her, like either individually, like with her teaching me material, or like hands-on when I would accompany it to her to like a scene or a session or like
You
a
know,
place
not to
where
cut
had
you
to give me
off,
a session. Yes.
that was really nice of her because I mean, even though you paid her, a lot of people wouldn't put people on game.
No,
You know what I'm saying? So that's a real one right there.
I feel like I'll forever be indebted to her.
Right.
And she's wonderful. And that was back in 2012. And then from 2012 to 2018, I
Mm-hmm.
decided to learn and practice. I had moved to Georgia in like 2015. So our relationship like kind of like ended with the physical, like as far as me going to her for services. I would reach out occasionally from time to time, but she was just like, I think you got it. And me and the guy that I was dating had already broken up for like a totally different reason. Nothing's wrong with him.
Right.
But I moved to Georgia and I was already dating someone else. But I feel like I'm trying to find this book that she gave me. Oh, it's called The Dark Psychology and Gaslighting Manipulation, Mind Control Techniques for Influencing Human Behavior. How to camouflage, attack, influence, and defend
Child,
yourself. So
you
I
about to
read
have the
that, and
listeners going crazy.
I also read. I'm an observer. I have RBF naturally. I have rest and bitch face.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't mean that I'm not happy or I'm not observant or that I'm just like high all the time. I mean, granted, I'm high maybe like 80% of the time, but I'll be watching people. So I decided to study and I read a book called The Ritual of Dominance and Submission, a guide to high protocol dominance and submission. And that helped me pretty much gain the type of clientele that I want because I don't service all people and I also don't service all sessions or kink or fetish types. Like I have hard limits myself. So I
Mm-hmm.
had to learn that I had to learn what I like. I had to find my niche, and then I had to make sure that I found an audience that I was actually able to cater to, an audience that would be listening or at
Right.
least watching. So I was spending 11 p.m. to 4 a.m. every day doing cam work
Mm.
and doing different types of cam work. And I know you're probably like, damn, you're up at late at night. Yeah, because that's when people put their kids and their wife to sleep. Like
Yeah,
this is the time that
it's
they are able to
showtime.
get on the phone and get on Chatterbait and Cam Soda and My Free Cams
Right.
and do what they need to do and release. And some of the sessions, well, majority of them would be feet related. I have my feet
Hmm.
out all on my Instagram. Some of them would be me, doing ASMR. So I would be reading in a soft voice to the AB DC community, which is the adult baby diaper community. They
Wow.
like when I read them bedtime stories, and they would pay me or send me tokens on the app in order to read their specific one. I would branch them over to Skype sessions. I also do in person and virtual. I still do these things, but not on cam anymore because I'm just busy as fuck. Like
Right, right.
I'll refresh my inbox and I'll see that someone booked a session or inquired about one. And I'm like, all right, now I got to take time out of my day to do this and that and this and that. So, and I also mentor other baby doms who are trying to get started. But since 2018, I decided to pursue FinDom, which is financial
Financial
domination,
dominatrix.
and ProDom, which is professional dominatrix services, since I'm servicing people in person.
Hmm.
And I saved up enough money for me to pay for me to go to school.
Well,
So
hold on,
that's
slow
how I
down, slow down,
transitioned
slow
into
down, slow
that.
down.
Oh,
Slow
go
down,
ahead.
slow down, slow down. No, wait. So where are some of the services that you provide? Like, because I know you do a lot.
Yes. Sissification, pegging.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I pretty much do everything except for scat.
What's
Nope,
cat?
not jazz. Scat is shit.
Oh,
It's
okay.
cool. But I do water sports. So I will pee on you for a fee. But I do
Mm-hmm.
not do scat. I do not do knife play. And I do not do needles. Medical.
Needles.
Yeah, there you can get pierced as a kink
Oh,
effect.
wow. I'm just
Um,
so surprised at how taboo this is because I feel like, and maybe because I just have people that's in this lifestyle, but I feel like this is so common. I feel like kinks is forever growing.
It is. And you know what? I tried to touch base with like some people that I've either had one session or multiple sessions with down the road because kinks change. Your limits may change.
Right.
What you're into definitely changes. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, hey, I haven't heard from you in a while. Are we good? They're like, oh yeah, it's just busy and everything like that. But I actually wanted to explore something different because I saw a clip that you posted on Twitter and you did that with someone else. Can we try that? And I'm like, oh, I didn't know you were into that. But
Right.
absolutely. So aside from pegging, I do trampling, sissifications, I give wedgies. I am a spanker
Wedgies is a kink?
also. Yes, I do spank. I am into the 1950s housewife role,
Mm.
but I do like it's different into latex, into leather and PVC clothing, flogging, caning, pretty much everything under the sun. Mummification is something that is a
What's
favorite of
that?
mine. I restrict you. In the one that I recently did, I don't know. There's a Twitter video going viral right now where this man is in like a box and he is being like all the air is being sucked out of it. So you just see the imprint of his silhouette and like there's like a tube in his mouth for him to breathe.
Wow.
So I kind of do something similar where I wrap you in saran wrap because that's what I can get right now, the commercial size saran wrap.
Right.
And I will take out a hole for you to breathe either by mouth or by nose, but also your penis. And either I'll step on it with my shoe or I will step on it barefoot or I will milk you into an orgasm or forced orgasm or edging and you can't do anything about it.
Y'all, I wish y'all can see my guest because how she look and how she sound is not matching up with the images
Love
I
it.
have in my head. She
I
looks
love
so
it.
soft spoken, well put together, like, and she is up here smashing niggas' balls, y'all. Like,
I
it is,
love it.
yeah, like it's so crazy. Like, I can't even see you like going in. I can't even see you breaking a nigga back in. Like,
I dressed like this on purpose today.
yeah,
I will say
clearly.
that. It's been a wild ride. It's been a wild journey. I will say that the men that are in this lifestyle and women, because I do service women too. And I
Mhm.
actually I have a daughter, but she's not someone who I birthed. She is a little. So she engages in age play. She's 27. but she
Wait,
identifies as a between the ages of 0 and 2. So she is a little. Uh,
no, no. You know what's so funny? Because I did my research on you, and I'm like, oh,
Speaking of devil, she just texted me too.
yeah, I saw that. Because I mean, we're jumping ahead, but one of my questions was, how do your family and friends feel about you being a professional dominatrix? And I was going to ask you after that was about your daughter, but when I went to her page, I'm like, well, wait, my guest looked like she in my age group, and your daughter looked like she a little bit younger than us, and I was just like, nah.
Yes, so she identifies between the ages of 0 and 2. She has been in the lifestyle for 8 years. She met her daddy Dom, who was a girl. They have been in a relationship for 8 years. They met on a porn site.
Wow.
Yeah, so love at first megabyte, I guess. And then for about maybe 6 months to a year, I didn't know this, but she told me she had been looking through my tweets because she was looking for a mommy dom. And she had been going back to my tweets all the way back in 2009. Like that's how much
Wow.
she vetted and studied me. And then she approached me via DM on Twitter. And that was 5 months ago. And the rest is history. She just helped me. Well, she actually did it herself. She paid off my car.
Wow. So what do you
Shout
do
out
as
to
a
you,
mommy
Alicia.
dom?
Mhm.
Like what is a mommy dom? Like what do you do?
So I am a caregiver or for this person. So
Nah, I'm in the
when
wrong business.
So I tend to her as if she is her little age. So I'm like, wake up, princess. It's a new day. Like I wake her up. I send her a text message. Now, mind you, she lives in Florida. I am in Georgia. She is planning to come here. Her and her daddy Dom are coming here to stay for like a week in
With
August.
you?
We're gonna get Airbnb and we're gonna make some content and stuff. So she is part of the spanking community. They all are. So that should be fun. But in regards to our day-to-day activities, I wonder why she's texting me. Probably nothing. You don't need anything right now. She's probably asking me what I'm doing. But we wake up. She's just like,
Child, I
can I
can't
have
stop smiling.
She's just like, can I have a snack? And I'm like, absolutely not. You're gonna have breakfast because that's the most important meal of the day. I'll get on FaceTime with her while she cooks, or either she will send me a picture of what she's going to make or what she is eating. Aside from that, I asked, what are we doing today? She works. She works at a daycare, which is ironic for her to be in the
Right.
place. But she
What she
works. She works 2 jobs. She helps out with the household. She reached out to me and asked me, "What do you need? How can I serve you? What are the things that you need? Because I like to please you." Me and her do not have a sexual relationship,
will you
but
have a sexual relationship with her?
no, that's my baby.
Mm.
Mm-mm. But she helps out with the bills and everything. She's just like, can you give me a breakdown of the things that I need to do like by this week? What do you need from me? She
What
asks.
type of daycare she work at? Let me
She
find out
makes
the
good
money at the
money.
daycare.
She has been in childcare for quite some time, and she does make good money.
Clearly.
And
Shit.
yeah, she's good. She's really good to me. And outside of that, we do have movie nights now. She loves Lilo and Stitch. She loves JoJo Siwa. She loves putting her hair in bows. She loves candy. She loves pizza rolls, and will eat them nonstop unless I reprimand her. But she's not the Disney looking at those types of movies things. We watch true crime when we interact as a family or when we FaceTime. But she does like baking cookies and sweets, and she does get into mischief. And sometimes she speaks out of turn, which I have to go ahead and correct and give punishment when necessary. It's just watching adult child, pretty much.
But do you
And
ever
giving them
think
guidance.
like outside of like this being your profession, do you ever think about where this stemmed from?
Um, for me?
Well, we'll
Oh,
get to
for
you
me, right?
later, but for her.
Okay.
Or just for anybody that
Um,
wants to be that's in this the mommy dom into mommy dom or daddy dom. Like, do you ever think like did something
I
happen or
So not all kinks are rooted from trauma.
right?
However, some traumas do play a part or a role into how this person has a kink, but it
Mm-hmm.
may not be rooted in trauma. So with her, she's adopted and she didn't really have like a mommy and daddy figure growing up. She's adopted by her cousin. who was a family member, but it's still not the same as a mom.
Right.
And her parents died before like she hit the age of 18. So this was
Oh,
something
wow.
that she had needed.
Right.
And she reached out to me for it. She had reached out to a couple of mommy doms and they wanted to use her as a service sub, like someone who would be cooking and cleaning and washing the clothes and taking care of their biological kids. And I'm like, that is not what a little is supposed to do. You're between the ages of 0 and 2.
I mean,
Be a
yeah, I can't do
service
that.
sub if, yeah, like you,
But also,
absolutely
littles ain't supposed to be paying no bills at the age of 2 now.
at all, but this is something that she wanted to do. I didn't tell
Yeah.
her that there was anything monetary that she needed to provide. She told me that this is something that she wants to do because she thinks that I deserve to look good and to be happy, and
Right.
that, in my
But you
opinion,
also probably make her feel safe though.
I do. And she comes to
Yeah.
me for everything. Like she'll call me at the drop of the dime, like, hey, can you help me with this? And I'm happy to help her. It's not like it's a chore or what does
Right.
this person want? She gives me space to be in my vanilla lifestyle whenever I need that space. However,
Right.
she knows that she can come to me for anything.
Right.
And I mean, I'm her protector. Like that's my baby girl. So she's not going anywhere. At
Right.
first, I was adamant on taking littles in the first place because it's a responsibility taking care of a child. So imagine an adult one who knows what they should be doing, but they're going to be doing the opposite.
Right. Right. Right.
And I have to get punishment whenever necessary, but it's not too much. It may be too much for her, but in my opinion, I think I'm fair. I think I'm more than fair.
That's what all moms say, right?
That's true.
Especially Black moms.
Yeah.
So I can only imagine the amount of research that you do, because I would assume that you would have to stay on top of all the latest trends and techniques, right?
Yeah, that and also because the fetish lifestyle is just you can go down a rabbit hole. And
Right.
there's no, I don't want to say that there's no right or wrong way to do things, but just keep in mind that your perspective of how to perform or engage with the kink may be different from someone else. I
Right.
definitely ask, I do my research online, I read books. I actually go to other subs and ask about their experiences with their Dom. What are some things that you are working on? I'm cool with subs that are
You're
not
really
owned. If
thoughtful.
Thank you. If you are owned, I do not reach out. I will go ahead and ask your Dom or your owner or your handler for permission to speak with that person individually, or I will just go ahead and speak to the Dom because I'm not allowed to speak to their sub. That's who they engage with.
Mm.
And knows better. She doesn't speak to anybody like as far as outside conversation without my permission. But it's important to do research, and
And what would
especially
happen if she does go outside and
oh, she would
it
get
doesn't get your
in trouble
permission?
for that. I've
Wow.
I've been on FaceTime with her where me and her daddy Dom have made her stand in the corner, like and do wall sits for like an hour. And that's
Wow.
just for a little punishment. My punishments get a little bit severe and sadistic. I'm a sadist, so I thrive on the and I get pleasure from other people's pain anyway. So I try to be a little bit gentle to her because she is a little, but anybody else can get the smoke.
Right.
That's how
Which
I
we're gonna
handle
get
it.
into later.
Yeah, I also mentor other doms because I know how difficult it can be to navigate through the fetish community on your own.
Right.
And why not work smarter instead of hard? Granted, sex work is definitely work. It is something that you have to be consistent in
For
doing in
sure.
order to reap the benefits. However, I'd rather show you like, hey, don't do this because you'll make a mistake. And this is a tried and true mechanism that will actually get you to get the money you deserve. I have a mentee. Her name is Taurus. Shout out to Taurus if you're going to be listening to this. She took my course, and I think like maybe 1 or 2 weeks later, she had a $2,000 virtual customer.
Mm. Child, I'm gonna have to
So
take your
shit
course
worked.
too. Shit.
Shit worked. It
But I
works.
think the
You
reason why
get
you're like, I think the reason why you're like that though is because your mentor was like that with you.
Yeah, and
And
I
that
try to be
speaks,
personable because nobody ever
yeah,
knows anything. I'm a forever student, and if I don't know some shit that
same.
my mentees are asking, I'm gonna make sure I'm gonna go ask somebody else.
Right,
Either a trusted mentor that I feel is vetted and responsible and has a good reputation in this community and has not been red listed, and someone I know with the experience. I definitely reach out to people, especially when I don't know something. I'll be like,
right.
hey, I'll be right back because I don't want to give anybody the wrong information. That's how you can hurt people and yourself.
Yeah, for sure. So how do you ensure the safety and well-being of your clients during sessions, And what protocols do you have in place to ensure that everyone involved, including yourself, has given informed consent?
Consent, consent, consent. That is the key word.
Mm-hmm.
And when it comes to, like, let's just say, like, if a customer or a client reaches out to me and they fill out the in-person session application,
Right.
in my link, there are a list of questions that I need to be able to know and address before we even talk about negotiations or vetting. I'm gonna
Right.
see if I can pull up some questions here on my job form. Let me go here. And some of these are important. Well, all of them are important. So, I mean, aside from asking, how long you've been in a lifestyle, and please enter your contact information, I'm asking things as far as they're a little bit more in depth. Um, Not even about where you found me or what's your session budget. What are your hard limits? Because I don't want to do anything that's going to hurt either one of us. And I also want to respect your boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
And I ask, to list any types of kinks and names that you may find offensive to you. I definitely do not want to call you a cum dumpster if that's not what you prefer to be called. You may be used as one, but you may want me to speak to you like this.
Right.
And I
Right.
actually speak to my clients like this. They know to yield to my authority without me having to yell at them because they know I'm going to bring the smoke. But I do ask about, do you have any medical or mental health issues or concerns or conditions that I should know about?
I
It's
mean,
not,
that's important.
yeah, it's not used to like discriminate or anything, but I want to help navigate our arrangement in like the best way possible.
And you want to protect
So it's
yourself.
not, yeah, and I carry during my sessions. Like
Oh,
I'm
I
strapped.
already know you got your piece on you at all times, baby.
All times. My Glock 19 makes sure that she accompanies me when I leave
When
the
I
house.
heard that, I said,
But
nah.
I I try to tell people that, hey, like your kink is not a mental illness or it shouldn't prohibit you from doing anything. However, if you have one, shit, let me know. Let a bitch know, please. Like it's not to go ahead and say, well, this can't happen. It's just a
Right.
way for us to navigate our arrangement because consent is key. And consent not only happens before the session, it's during the session. And then we talk about it after the session during our aftercare, which is subject to different customers. And your aftercare session is going to be different
Right.
depending on whatever your kink is or whatever you want it to be. And I just ask that, if people are into like the kinks that they listed, like if you find it fulfilling and arousing, cool. If you're doing it as a form of self-harm, not cool at all.
Yeah.
BDSM and the sub communities are a great lifestyle to adopt, but it should never be used with the intention of hurting anybody or hurting yourself or someone
Mm-hmm.
else. If you are struggling with that, and I have that in my application, I'm like, if you're struggling with that, holler at me in the DM
Mm-hmm.
because I know a lot of people they have vanilla issues. Like, and I'm talking about, just regular life shit. They're adulting just like I am.
Yeah,
We
life
going
is
through this
hard.
life shit together. Like life
Right.
is freaking hard.
Life be
Um,
life and child.
but if you need to message me as a friend because you are using like kink life to navigate from your vanilla issues because your life
Right.
is a mess, that's not cool. I prefer that you reach out to me and we talk about this before we even engage in a session. We may not even engage in one. I may have to go ahead and refer you to a therapist.
Mm.
And I don't mind doing so.
Right.
But consent is something that is needed throughout. If at any time during the session or scene that we are doing, you feel uncomfortable, or I can gauge that you were in pain and you're trying to bear and take it, I'm stopping the scene altogether.
Mm.
Some people
Because you
may
ain't trying to catch
be
nobody.
hell no. And in some cases, if with there are extreme kinks, I may have to go ahead and draft up a agreement just saying, hey, this is something that we are both consenting to. This is a negotiation. You have the obligation to go ahead and tap out of this by using a safe word or a
Right.
color scheme at any time. So if you tell me yellow, I'm gonna go ahead and like back off a little bit. If you tell me red, scene is over. We're not doing this because I want to make sure that you are good. I do not
Right.
want anyone sex sent me to the ER. That's the last thing that I want for either of us.
Right.
But it's the application is geared to protect me. It's also geared to protect the person that's applying, and
Mm-hmm.
then their contact information is given to one of my subs, an alpha sub who is in the police department. I'm not gonna say which one or which state,
Oh yeah,
but
don't
he
give
will
yeah,
do
because we
not
ain't trying to
he
You
will
trying to
he
have him
will
get fired?
run he will run my background checks for me to ensure that the person is who they say they are. And there are some procedures that I follow prior to or including of to when I get to the particular scene because I don't host. I travel.
Mm.
No one comes to me. I'm an outcall. So
So wait, so what are your hard limits?
so hard limits for me. Don't ask me about no. Somebody actually like did, and they actually want to pay me a lot to like make scat brownies. I'm not gonna be making them. They're gonna take my stuff and use them. I've sold my pee before, so I'm not,
But you
tripping
would
off
sell
of
your
that.
shit too?
I would sell my shit too. I sell my Brazilian wax shavings. I sell my toenail clippings, my old house slippers. Like the ones I got on now are about to like instead of throwing them in a jar in the garbage, I just like sell them for like $50, and I can
How
just
much
ship
would
them
you
back
sell
to
your
them.
shit for? Or how much is shit going for these days?
It really depends.
I'm so intrigued.
It really depends. I've sold my pee for about 50 to $100 an ounce.
Oh,
And
I
whatever
got
you
some
do
pee
with
and I
it
drink
is
mad
up to
water.
you. Look, and I'm like, hey, don't use this for a drug test because I can't help you with that. But there are a lot of things in the community, old worn socks. I'll go to the gym and wear the same sock for a week. The
Mm.
same sock, and that is disgusting. But I'll put it in a sheen bag or a Ziploc and I'll ship it off to you for $100. And they like it.
But you know what's so funny? I remember when there was a time where girls were going to Dubai to get shitted on for like mad money. Do you remember that?
Yeah, they still are apparently. I don't even think that that's actually stopped.
Really?
But
Oh, because I don't hear much about it
um,
no more.
I think due to the shame that it has gotten, people are probably doing it a little bit more discreet. Um, I don't want to go to Dubai to get shitted on. Now, I will gladly go over there to shit on somebody. Yes, that
Would
is a
you really
hard
shit on
limit.
somebody though?
Yeah, I would. No problem. It's a hard limit for me because I hate the smell and I hate the way it looks. And I'm like, oh my God. Like, so that's why I
Right.
don't do it. But other than that, medical play and knife play, because I don't know, when it comes to blood, the way that it is drawn, like even I can't even look at my blood when I get like blood work done. I have to look away because I'm gonna just
Right.
get nauseous and
It's
everything.
too much. Right.
But if I do impact play, meaning if I spank you or flog you or beat you and you happen to be bloody, I will use your blood and go ahead and paint on a canvas, like finger paint from that. And then I'll give it to you as a trophy.
Yeah, I gotta sign up for your. I gotta see these videos, man. I am intrigued.
It's a lot that you can do. Don't I would just say just don't put yourself in a box when it comes to the BDSM lifestyle because you can literally get lost in it if you just explore. I go to
Right.
Munches, which is like it's a gathering where kinksters go in a vanilla setting where we can talk and socialize amongst each other. That is
Hmm.
not the same as vetting or negotiating. You're just having dinner or lunch with someone. It's a way in order to network with people that you could potentially play with.
Right.
And that's how I end up playing with others as well in the form of lifestyle sessions. So any type of major events or munches, or if you have to go to a dungeon, or if someone's having a slave auction at their home where they auction off their services and we give that money to charity, I'm all the way into that.
Right.
And that's how we play together. But anybody who's just like, hey, I gotta keep this on the hush and it's discreet. My wife can't know. Nobody can know. I'm in a position of power. This cannot get out. Oh, you're paying. You're paying for privacy, without
Right.
a
Well,
doubt.
yeah.
And I'm gonna charge you for it. I'm not leaving the house
Yeah.
less than three
If you
hundred
gotta
and
pay for
fifty
privacy, I'm
dollars.
taxing that ass.
I don't leave my
Okay.
house for less than 350. I don't care if it's just to kick you in the nuts or just to spit on you for 5 minutes. 350 is the least, and that is actually a low ball. My services generally go between 350 to 500.
Mm.
The
What's
most
your
that
most expensive? Oh, go ahead.
someone's paid 1,000. It was a girl, a stud, and I got a chance to peg her.
And she
Pound
pay a
town,
thousand?
just she paid 1,000.
What's your most expensive service?
Pegging because that shit takes a lot of work.
You know what's so funny? My next question was because because I noticed that pagan has grown, is getting really popular.
Yeah.
So Have you noticed this trend among your clients? Like, is this something that you're getting?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I have told people, because people are like, oh my God, you do that. I'm like, yo, it's just a prostate massage. You're just getting your prostate massage. And this is one of the reasons why I really don't take men as seriously, because your G spot is in your ass. How dare you yell at me or tell me what the fuck you think you're gonna do or whatever like that.
Right.
But anyway, I get a lot of men who are like, yo, I want to try it, or hey, I've done this before and I actually liked it. I can't tell nobody else, but at least I'm comfortable telling you, or
Mm-hmm.
can we do a session that way? The last booty hole I had, I ripped, and he was cool about it. He was fine. He was fine. I fixed him up. I made sure that he didn't walk out here
What you
super
be doing? You be going in
crazy.
like that?
I think it was a while for him, and I have three dildos. That one was like pretty big. It was pretty girthy. Um, it's not as long as like my 10-inch one, but it is 8, and it has like I guess the girth is like 2.5 inches, maybe 3. And I wasn't even going hard as I usually do. And I will say, pegging is a workout. You know
Of
how
course.
men complain that, oh my God, like you can't get on top, and we're like, no, I can't do that and everything. Men be putting in work, and that shit made me like, I'm like, all right, I see what y'all saying now. I see what
Right.
you're saying, because I'm the one that's putting people in different positions. I'm putting their legs up and everything. If you go on my Twitter media, I'm gonna retweet some videos that I've done. You'll be able to see that I got these niggas in different positions. That shit is a workout. I don't wish
How
that
does
type of
that
stuff
make
on anybody who ain't prepared for it.
right? How does that make you feel? Like, do you feel
Empowered.
yes.
I be slapping ass and all. I be telling them to call me daddy and everything. I have their leash on when I'm doing it so I can pull them back and rear them into me. I'm like a combination between Justin Slayer and like a little bit of Brian Pumper or Wesley Pipes, because I do get disrespectful. I start saying crazy shit to you to mind fuck you while you're getting the experience you deserve, but you gonna enjoy it.
And
You
yo,
really
the fact that you
enjoy
and I can only imagine the type of niggas that you're fucking like, because you in the South, so I know niggas is like big
Look,
niggas.
the majority of them Black men, which I love. I love being a safe haven for them in order to explore their
Mm-hmm.
kinks and fetishes. A lot of these men come in positions of power. They're in professions where no one gets to tell them what to do. They're either cops, they're lawyers, uh, they are engineers, they are preachers. My first customer down here was a pastor.
Well, hold on, we gonna get to that.
We're gonna get into that.
We gonna get
But
to that.
these are professions where they are wearing the hat all the time. So
Right,
they
they in
come to me in
control.
order to take it off, because they're like, yo, I don't want to feel like that shit all the time. Like I gotta govern, like when I go to work, and then I gotta govern the house when I come home. So they come to me for relief. And it's appreciated.
Mm.